Do you guys remember a time when there used to be like a game for every IP that would come out? Even if it's the most obscure IP ever, from literally every movie would get a video game, every TV show, every cartoon, even like the most obscure stuff like reality TV shows would get their own video games. Remember I'm a Celebrity for the Wii? Yeah, dark times indeed. And although licensed games in general are kind of seen as like the cannon fodder of the video game market as a whole, you'd see them like in the bargain bins to any like video game shop you'd visit. We've seen a lot of diamonds in the rough, I can't lie, and even to the point where we've had licensed games that are considered to be like revolutionary as well as being some of the best games of all time. So I'm here today to of course talk about some of my favorite licensed games. You could say this is a top 10 video of my favorite licensed games of all time. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so when you talk about licensed based video games in general, how can you not talk about the Arkham series? Like what we got: Batman Arkham Knight, we got Batman Arkham City Wii U edition, the Armored edition for the Wii U, we got Batman Arkham Origins, Batman Arkham City Game of the Year edition for the 360, and Batman Arkham Asylum, where everything started. These games, okay, there was a time before the Arkham series and a time after the Arkham series. Arkham Asylum pretty much single-handedly changed the landscape when it came to superhero games, license-based video games, Batman games, and just games in general, to be fair. These games were so flipping revolutionary. To this day, they hold up so well. The definitive Batman experience. If you've never played Batman, you can get into this and you will learn everything about the character, his rogue of villains, his story, his backstory, everything that makes Batman Batman. It's pretty much a comic book come to life. Like Arkham Asylum has you, again, the Joker has taken over the asylum. You have to pretty much put everything under control. Batman Arkham City expands on Arkham Asylum, where the prison system of Gotham has gone out of control. They've pretty much taken a portion of Gotham City and turned it into like a super prison, Arkham City. And I can't lie, I'll say both of these games, I think this is like the best superhero game of all time, in my opinion. And oh my god, the cliffhanger for this game is, to this day, it's shocking, like what they did with the lore and mythos of the Batman character. Kevin Conroy coming back. This is like, for people who grew up with the cartoon series, the animated series, Batman Beyond, Justice League and so on, this is kind of like you can say this is kind of like an adult version of that, an interactive version of that, if it was more mature and a bit more edgy and gritty and a bit more comic booky. So even if you're a fan of the cartoons, this is like the spiritual sequel successor to those Bruce Timm and Paul Dini animated shows. Like this series is everything. Arkham Origins, even though it's kind of considered the black sheep of the franchise, in my opinion has like one of the most coldest concepts for a Batman story. Batman Arkham Knight, the penultimate story, the climax of the Arkham saga. We get to play as the Batmobile. You get to explore a fully constructed Gotham that to this day looks stunning. This game has turned 10 years old. Oh my god, I'm so old. A lot of my friends said this is the game that bought them a PS4. So this was a system seller pretty much. It's so good. I know I exaggerate a lot, but like this game series as a whole just makes you feel like you are the Batman. Like you're in the Batman shoes, you're in Bruce Wayne's shoes, kicking ass and taking names. So yeah, Batman Arkham. Okay, so number 9, we move to my favorite comic book character, to my favorite anime series of all time, which is the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi series. Oh my god. Oh, okay, fun fact. I only found out about this recently, but Budokai Tenkaichi 4 came out recently as well for the PlayStation 5, aka Sparking Zero. Japanese names are actually different to the English names when they were released. So we got Sparking Zero, which is like the official name for Tenkaichi 4, Tenkaichi 2, Sparking Neo, and then Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, which is Sparking Meteor. Fun little fact there. Dragon Ball Z is known for its super over-the-top action-packed fights. And I don't know if this was the first game series that made this into it, like this is the thing that established the genre, but this is a 3D arena fighting game. Like most games prior to the Sparking series in general are seen as like 2D fighters or 3D arena fighters. Something like the closest thing you'll get to is something to the likes of Tekken or Virtua Fighter. Besides that, everything else was like a 2D fighter, something in the likes of Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. This genre expands on everything and pretty much makes it to be the best Dragon Ball Z experience in my opinion. Playing this game makes you feel like you're reliving the anime, but you're actually interacting with it, which makes it even better. Especially for the Wii, in my opinion, is the more, I guess, fun and interactive version. But for a more casual experience, I guess. Because, like, again, to do the Spirit Bomb pose, you have to put your hands in the sky and throw the Wii Remote down. If you want to do the Kamehameha pose, you have to actually, like, bring the controller of the Wii Remote and nunchuck back and then push it forward towards the screen to do the Kamehameha wave. So yeah, like, the immersion levels are over 9,000. And, like, when it comes to the PS2/PS5 experience, of course, with the PS2 controllers, definitely, like, gives you a more of a competitive edge to it, especially for Sparking Zero. I've barely played that much of Sparking Zero just because of the amount of games I've played recently. I would say Dragon Ball Z, the Tenkaichi 3 is more casual, immersive experience if you want to like relive the anime and manga series. But Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 4 Sparking Zero is definitely more of a competitive experience. It's definitely more for like the online catered fan base, which is pretty cool as well because most of us have now like grown up. Like we were kids playing these games and now we're adults. So yeah, Bandai have really like, I think they did a really good job of like adapting the playstyle of their games throughout the years, which is pretty cool. But these games have everything, man, like the particle effects, the explosions, the variety of characters. People need to forget like how long some of these shonen and anime like manga series are in general. They're as long as like 10, 20 years of like serialization and animation. They're long-ass stories. You get to really relive the entire series, including the movies as well. I think Tenkaichi 3 Meteor is like my favorite just because it has everything. All the characters from like the more popular ones like Goku and Vegeta to like more of the obscure characters like from the original Dragon Ball, and even has like really cool like what if scenarios. It's just a really like fun, I don't know man, like when it comes to anime experience, I don't think anything has really touched these games at all, I can't lie. Okay, number 8. A game franchise, well, an IP that's very, very big when it comes to movies, but surprisingly has a very small cult following when it comes to like other sources of media, when it comes to comics and cartoons. But I want to talk about the video games, and that is the Activision High Moon Studios trilogy, being Transformers War for Cybertron, Transformers Fall for Cybertron, and though not canonical, but it's a tie into the movie Transformers Dark of the Moon. I love these games so much. Like these two games, War and Fall of Cybertron, like really like made me fall in love with the lore of Transformers. I was always like a diehard Transformers fan, like as a kid, watching like the Shia LaBeouf movies, watching the cartoons and so on. But like this really put to landscape how like we barely touched the surface of Transformers lore in general. This puts the war in Transformers. This makes you feel like you're in an intergalactic war between robot factions. This is raw. This is very grim, I can't lie. These games are not set on Earth. This is way before the events of them arriving to Earth and meeting with the humans and so on. It's pretty much like in the last days, the last years of the war between the Decepticons and the Autobots. The Decepticons are kicking the Autobots' ass. A lot of people are getting killed off, and the planet itself is dying. Optimus in the first game is not even a prime yet. He's just like a really good soldier. And so you really see like the origins of how Optimus becomes a prime, how Bumblebee and Optimus meet for the first time, how Megatron meets up with Starscream for the first time, and like how allegiances and factions switch and change. It's really cool. Like, I still to this day, I remember the cinematics of, I think it was the Fall of Cybertron teaser where we get to see Grimlock for the first time and the Dinobots. And to this day, like, I was jaw-dropped when you see, like, Metroplex, who's, like, a city-sized Autobot comes from the ground. You have, like, Bruticus, who's, like, a 5-man Transformer. You got, of course, Ironide punching Starscream is the most satisfying thing I've ever seen in the franchise ever. The boss fights were amazing. We have this really cool like storytelling timeline where we get to play as both Autobots in the story as well as the Decepticons, so you kind of get to see both sides. It's just great world building. Like I think the first level is set in the city of the Autobot, which is Iacon, which is like this really like worn-torn metropolis of a city. The capital city of Kaon, which is the Megatron like fortress. This really like eerie, scary like fortress. It's like a giant like mechanical like biocastle, and it feels like it's like something of a horror film. Again, great world building. I want to see more of these in like Transformers movies and cartoons, which we are slowly seeing with like Netflix and Transformers 1, which is really cool. Just how Transformers just set on Cybertron period, because I think this is where like story and character development really kicks in. If you haven't, I urge you to play these games. They're so good. It's one of the best online experiences I've ever had. I think it's up there with like Gears of War and COD when it comes to online PFP matches. Because you get to play as like Jetson and dinosaurs on cars running around and flying around like these giant ass maps. Oh, these games are so good. Yeah, Transformers, War and oh my god, War and Fall of Cybertron. Yeah. Okay, number 7, and I feel like I'm the only one who's actually played these games. No one I've met in person has ever played these before. So yeah, most people that most of my friends, or like most people I've spoken to, grew up playing Pokemon games on like the DS and Game Boy. I was the complete opposite. I grew up with the PSP. I think I had a just as good enough like parallel to my friends and everyone else. The Yu-Gi-Oh GX / like YuGiOh Tag Force series. Oh my god, these games were much harder, man. I think this is the most like amount of hours I've ever put into a PSP handheld game, period. Nothing's gonna beat this. There's about like 10 of these, which is actually insane. So they did I'm guessing they were very successful on the market. The Tag Force series is kind of like a, how do I describe it? It's kind of like an RPG, but like switch the RPG battle like menu systems with the actual like Yu-Gi-Oh card game. You get to explore Dual Academy Island, increase like your XP. Basically a slice of life video game. I've never played like that many games like this. From what I've heard and read about it online, it's kind of like Persona, where like it's like there's a calendar system. You have to go to school, you learn and collect new cards. You have to like increase the morale of like the relationships between your partners and friends in the game, and eventually just become the best duelist in the game. As someone who like grew up watching the Yu-Gi-Oh GX series, that was technically like my generation of Yu-Gi-Oh, I can't lie. For someone who grew up watching like that anime, that cartoon, on TV growing up after school and so on, this was like the best thing ever. You get to play as your own character, you customize him and so on, interact with Jaden and you, was it Jaden? Who's this guy, man? Jesse and Zane and Cyrus and all the other characters in the story. And since it's called Tag Force, you have to, of course, like tag duels are kind of like the main starting point for these games. You pick a partner, whoever you want to be, whether that be Jaden, Zane, Cyrus. And then when it comes to the battle experience, oh my god, the gameplay is so good. Basically the card game from like the manga and the TV show and anime series. Like you get to customize your own deck, you get to buy cards, collect cards with the partner that you choose. You get to use their cards and abilities. It's like the best thing ever. Honestly, there's so many countless nights where I was just like in bed under my like blanket duvet cover, just playing the game at nighttime when I was like very, very young. Good times, man. Good times, man. Yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh GX Tag Force. Okay, number 6 goes to like similar to Yu-Gi-Oh, where I feel like I'm the only person like in the world who's played these games. The Looney Tunes franchise of games for the PlayStation 1. Bugs Bunny Lost in Time, Sheepdog and Wolf, and Taz Most Wanted for the PS2. I love the Looney Tunes. I think they're such like genius like creations of like comedy gold. My like I guess gateway to Looney Tunes is of course the Chuck Jones era of Looney Tunes cartoons, and these were also like in that time period as like a 4-year-old playing on my uncle's PS1. This was my first ever PS1 game. This and this. These are very, very cool memories. I plugged this in the other month, and these games hold up very, very well. It's cartoons. It's the cartoon cel shaded style, so a lot of these games hold up extremely well. They're very, very fun. All of them. They're all fun puzzle platformers with Taz Most Wanted as well. That's really fun. Sheepdog and Wolf is surprisingly very, very difficult, I can't lie. It's not really a platform, it's more of a puzzle game. You have to pretty much steal Sam's sheepdog's sheep from him, and you're playing as Ralph Wolf, not Wile E. Coyote. Bugs Bunny Lost in Time, oh my god, I haven't played this like in over a decade. Is more like from what I remember, is like you're traveling from world to world, similar to like Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, where you're bugs, you travel from era to era, different timelines, collecting carrots for your carrot time machine. I think this was more like something like Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, from what I remember, but I haven't played this in ages. But I just remember having a very, very fun time playing these games. I love Looney Tunes. I'm kind of really happy that like they're slowly making a comeback in like the mainstream market, especially with like, you know, The Day the Earth Blew Up, that came out recently. And the Saved, hallelujah, the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme movie, which we thought was cancelled and not going to be released, but it finally is. So I just wanted to share some of my Looney Tunes appreciation with these games. Great, great memories, and they hold up extremely well. If I have to talk about Batman, kind of have to talk about another superhero when it comes to license-based video games. And that, of course, is none other than everyone's favorite web slinger, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, my first ever like superhero game. I have such cool. You don't understand how when I played this for the first time, I legit thought this was like, whoa, like. Bro, I thought this was like the best game ever when I played it for the first time. When I was like, when this game came out, my uncle brought it for me. I was like, okay, fun little story, a bit of a fun story here. So Spider-Man 2, I remember my neighbors were having a birthday party, and I was really excited. And it turns out it was like an all-girl party. Like it was like a very princess-themed party. Everyone like in the area that I lived in were girls. I was like the only boy. So when I went to the neighbor's house, I was like, oh, this is not what I wanted. So I was really like bummed out and upset. And then like my uncle came over, he brought his original Xbox over, and he brought in Spider-Man 2. And when I played this game, I was hooked. I couldn't let go of it. It was just swinging around a Spider-Man is one of the best like feelings ever. Even though I think this game hasn't aged as well as most other Spider-Man games, it still has like a lot of core memories for me. And again, this revolutionized like superhero games in general. So Spider-Man 2, of course, like the ultimate Spider-Man experience with the Insomniac Spider-Man games, the definitive Spider-Man experience for me, in my opinion. Ultimate Spider-Man, the underrated game, the one game that no one talks about. This game is legit canon to the comic books. A game that came out in 2004, I think, and has aged like fine wine. Because again, it's so shaded, it feels like a comic book come to life. I think this was the first Spider-Man game where you can actively play as both Spidey and Venom, daytime and nighttime. You could even like travel to Queens District as well, which is pretty cool because most games is usually set on Manhattan Island. So going to like across the bridge and like traveling and swinging through Queens, interacting with other superheroes like the Human Torch and Wolverine was really, really cool as well. Very underrated game. Hopefully this gets like a HD remaster / re-release. I want that so badly. And of course, I think a franchise that's very, very popular right now is Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I think this was actually the first like Spider-Verse like IP that ever came out, like before like the movies and comics and so on. This was like the first crossover event. And it's really cool like how I think because of the movies this game's kind of getting more like traction and popularity again. It cost a bit of a pretty penny, I can't lie, because of I think the studio going out of bust or whatever. But again, this is the game where like you get to play as different Spider-Man. It kind of plays more like the Batman games because each Spider-Man has like its own gameplay system. You got Spider-Man 2099, which is like set in the future. You got Ultimate Spider-Man, which is like more of your typical, you know, web swinging and so on. You got Spider-Man Noir, which is like set in the 1920s. A very, very cool like noir aesthetic. It's in black and white. That plays more like Batman, where you have to, you're not really good at fighting, but you're more like stealth based. And then of course this is Ultimate Spider-Man. The previous one was like the regular like 616 Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man with the Venom symbiote suit, which is more like a brawler type character. So yeah, it's the first time where like the Spider-Verse collides. If you are a fan of like the Spider-Verse movies, Beyond the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse, you like to see like different Spider-Men interacting with each other, I would definitely recommend you play these games. Yeah, I think this was actually written by Dan Slott as well, who wrote the first Spider-Verse comic as well. So like I love how everything's kind of like interconnected with each other. Very underrated game. Go check it out. Okay, number 4, we've gone from shonen anime to superheroes to slice of life. Let's talk about some sci-fi fantasy, which is Star Wars. What is my favorite Star Wars game? Bloody hell, there's so many to talk about because, well, you got Battlefront, you got the new Battlefront games, you got the OG Battlefront games, you got Knights of the Old Republic, the best RPG of all time, definitely the best Western RPG of all time. You got the more like newer, like modern, like Jedi Fallen Order games, but in my opinion, I can't lie, it's a bit nostalgic bias as well, my favorite Star Wars game is Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader for the Nintendo GameCube. I love this game. This is one of the first GameCube games I ever owned. Similar to the way I played Spider-Man 2 for the first time, playing this for the first time with the opening level being the trench run with the Death Star against Darth Vader is the greatest like opening tutorial like level ever in any video game. This game puts you into the cockpit of a X-Wing pilot. It puts you into the perspective of Luke Skywalker in his X-Wing. You get to play as the Millennium Falcon. There's a lot of extra tidbits and narrative in these games, in this game, that really like fleshes out the story of the whole Star Wars saga. This game makes you feel like you are a pilot. I don't know if you guys did this, but I did it. Every time I play this game, I'd always like lock into cockpit view just to make it more immersive. Moving the camera around, you can see like if the ships are beside you or next to you. The game, if you're a fan of stuff like Hawks or Ace Fighter Combat, and if you're a Star Wars fan, this is definitely like the best of both worlds. I hope Again, Nintendo, please do something, make a remaster or something, please. Okay, my third favorite licensed game of all time is The Simpsons Hit and Run. How could I not put this on the list? This is my favorite sitcom. This is the perfect adaptation ever. If you're gonna adapt The Simpsons, of course you're gonna make it into a GTA clone. Springfield, like, this game is built to be a GTA parody. I love it so much. I would put hours and hours and hours into this game. Not just playing the missions, but it's just fun just roaming around the city, exploring different sites and meeting with different characters. Hit and Run just feels like a giant interactive episode of the series, of the show. It has that perfect blend of like Simpsons style humor with like the Matt Groening Springfield aesthetic with like platforming elements and racing elements as well. In my personal opinion, the game has like aged very well. Every time I replay this, it has like this fun novelty when you're playing it again for the first time. You're like, oh yeah, all these like locations and gags and references and callbacks to the old like seasons and stuff. But then like I think once it hits the halfway mark, it actually like treats you with a bit of respect of the game. I was saying, you know, this is a very difficult game, and it gets very, very hard at sometimes. There's definitely difficulty spikes that really like pull your hair out, especially the final level. This is again one of the best games I've ever played. Top 10 games of all time. What can I say? I'm kind of curious to know like what your favorite like Springfield level is. They didn't do the thing where it's like GTA where it's like one giant map. They kind of split the map into 3 like locations, being, I think it was Homer had the suburbs, Lisa had the Squidport and Seaside and Coast, and Bart had the city. I think for me, in my opinion, Bart's level was always like my favorite just because of how I think it was the most expansive and the biggest, and I think his car was my favorite. The Honor Roller again was like the coolest car to drive. I loved it so much. Continuing the trend of 2D animated shows and comedies as well, one of my favorite cartoons ever, one of my favorite platforming games, 3D platformer games ever, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Again, a cult classic in the fan base. I love this game. This is, oh man, as someone who's a diehard I'm a diehard Simpsons fan as well, but I'm also a diehard SpongeBob fan. This game, if you're a fan, play it. It's so good. It's 3D platformers in general. Like I grew up playing Mario. I grew up playing Rayman, Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet and Clank. I consider Battle for Bikini Bottom like on par with those games. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I believe so. It's my opinion. It is what it is. Yeah, this game is like, I always revisit this game like every 2 or 3 years or so, and again, it just holds up very well. And like the fact that this game also got like a remaster as well on the PS4 goes to show like how loyal the fan base is with this series alone. Like this game has everything for what like Batman is to the Arkham series, what Hit and Run is to the Simpsons series, is what Battle for Bikini Bottom is to the SpongeBob series. I love this game so much. And we are finally at number 1, the ultimate, I guess, experience when it comes to licenses, license-based video games, whatever movie or video game franchise it is the LEGO games. I can't lie, I love LEGO games. They are the ultimate family-friendly, casual experience you can get. It's one of them games where you can just like turn your head off and just have fun playing these games. I can't lie, modern LEGO games have actually like blown my mind on how like interactive and how large and how big they can be. Again, growing up with like Lego Batman, it's just a fun, family-friendly, 2-player co-op experience where you can just like, you know, you're jumping on platforms, basic puzzles, the novelty of like interacting and playing as like your favorite movie character, comic book character, Indiana Jones, same thing, great fun experience. But like once you hit like games like Lego Marvel Superheroes and Lego The Hobbit, where it's like, it's flipping open world. It's like GTA but Lego. That's insane. And like the fact that you can like explore all the Shire and like all of Marvel New York. I don't know. And the thing is, I'm not even the biggest Lego fan in general. I've never like grown up playing and like collecting Legos. For some reason, I've always like resonated with Lego games. I don't know if any of you guys can relate. I feel like I'm the opposite there with most people. Lego Marvel, for example, I think this was the first like HD Lego, the first HD Lego game. And I was floored. I didn't even own this at first. With my friend got his PS4 for the first time, and I think he got like a driving game. He got I think it was Forza. It was a driving game. He got FIFA with it, and he got Lego Marvel Superheroes. And when he booted this up for the first time, I wasn't thinking that much of it. I was like, oh, it's another Lego game. You see like the HD visuals, the backgrounds, the open world, the music. I'm like, oh my god, like Lego games can be like cinematic and interactive. So I was really blown away. Plus the fact that it's like, again, it's a platformer, it's a platforming game with, of course, being a collectathon. with like thousands of like collectible items to collect, this was it for me. I absolutely loved it. And again, franchises like Marvel, which I love to death, Lord of the Rings, which I love to death, the DC comic, which I love to death. How can these games not be bad? I love these games so much. So yeah, Lego games, you can't go wrong with them. They're so fun. There's still a couple that I haven't played yet. I really want to play the Jurassic Park games and the current Lego Star Wars games I haven't played. But the original Lego Star Wars games were like my first Lego games ever. I love them so much. But yeah, Lego games in general were like, like if you have kids, if you have like younger siblings, if you have just younger kids flying, like running around the house, and you don't want to play like mature games like COD and so on, I think the Lego games are like the best gateway in for them to start playing games, in my opinion. They have that perfect balance of fun factor, easy enough puzzles, very simple like combat system with like very like fun basic level gag humor. And that was it. That was my top 10 favorite licensed games of all time. Did I miss anything out? I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I think that seems pretty good. What are your favorite licensed games? What games do you like that were based off like IPs, off movie franchises, off celebrities? Remember Def Jam, a Jackie Chan game on the PS1? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. What are your favorite games? Please let me know down below. And yeah, I shall see you guys next time. Peace. Shoo.